none of the downloads that you have is wrong, because there are infinite amount of realities. So you basically decide your own reality. I would never ever want anyone to hurt themselves as much as I've hurt myself and hurt others, because I've hurt others. Everybody that I meet is a messenger from God. Whatever they say, however they act, is up to me to learn something about myself from. I go to the hotel after the meeting, and I consumed a lot of tramadol that night. A lot. Yeah, and I...
Join the journey, stay for a while.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of KohPhanCast, the official podcast of Copenhagen Island. And this week with me, Felix Amadeus. Felix is a very good friend of mine. I would call him my brother. Felix is a guidance for people in their spiritual path. We talked about the lower moments, the higher moments, the understanding that everything plays into the game of your life when you understand it's a lesson. We talked about understanding what it is, going through human emotions. I cannot wait for you to listen to this, so let's get into it, guys. Before the conversation, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share with me in the comment section what you thought about this conversation, and let's get into it. KohPhanCast. Enjoy the episode, guys. Hey, Felix.
Hi.
You know, I am super excited for this because, like, you meet a lot of people here in Copenhagen, and few of them, you actually find yourself having this connection that you're like, okay, it's more than just me meeting another person. You know, you can feel when someone is going to share the path that you are walking on with you, and when they do not need anything from you, but they want to empower, they want to give, they want to support, they want to be able to, they just want to be part of whatever it is that you're doing, bro. And first of all, I want to thank you so much for stepping into my life like that, because it's not taken for granted, you know, like a person with energy like you. It's just, it's unbelievable to see some people just want to help everybody from the bottom of their heart, not to get anything, not to be seen, not to be like felt in a greater way by others, but just to help them. So again, I said thank you like 4 times in the last 30 seconds, but thank you once more. And for the people out there that does not know you, Felix, give us something about yourself.
Thank you, Or. It means a lot. That's kind of the attitude and the energy that I get from you as well. And I like to meet like-minded people. It's good to see that there's like-minded people.
There are.
Yeah, because at the lowest lows, you start to question if there are.
Yeah.
And if everybody has a motive.
Yeah.
But to meet you has been a pleasure, and thank you for having me here. You are one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. But yeah, my name is Felix. I was born in Sweden under the name Måns, and past year I changed my name from Måns to Felix, because I felt that it didn't resonate with me. Måns in Swedish means the great, and name carry meaning, and Felix means the happy. And after my life experiences, I came to the conclusion that I'd rather be happy than great. You know?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that for sure. And
Yeah.
I love it that like a lot of people that I had, like, you're like asking them, who are you? Give me 30, 40 seconds. And immediately they're going to what they do or how they portray themselves against themselves, or anything that they think highly of themselves. And it is a beautiful thing to do. And we're going to dive straight in. But like, why do you think it's better to be happy than great? And what's the difference between them two?
To be great to be great is not equal of being happy or equal of being successful in the endeavors that I want to be successful in. I want to be a happy human being that can share my happiness with other people who are not happy. And I strive every day to get to that point. I think it's very important to be happy. Some people may disagree, but there's a lot of unhappiness. So yeah, happy is my mission. It's my personal mission to become happy. Yeah,
that's good, bro. That's good. And before we get to whatever it is that you are doing right now, let's start from a different place, like growing up. Like, how is it like for you? Because I heard a lot about Sweden from you. So how is it like growing there? For like, guide me through a little bit of what it is growing as Felix.
Growing up in Sweden, back in the
your perspective.
Yeah, growing up in Sweden back in the days was kind of normal. You know, it was a good childhood. I was nice growing up there. And you didn't really know any better anyways. So it's all perspective and relative. So growing up in Sweden was great. It's taken a turn lately that made it not so great. I think that what people consider like modern countries right now and is quite the opposite. I think that countries like Thailand is going to be the new modern country where materialistic things don't matter that much and connections matter more. Where you see like you're here for personal development. For example, KohPhanCast, it's an island it's a spiritual boot camp. That's what it is. It forces you to do your shadow work and it forces you to face your demons, and it rewards you by throwing in some amazing people in your life for doing so. Whilst Sweden is like many other modern Europe countries, just focused on career and pills and a cure for every illness is a pill, and they're focused on cars and they're focused on how much money they have, and if you look at it from my perspective, I would consider I haven't been in many countries in Europe, but I would consider Sweden as sort of hell on earth, and I would before I would consider Sweden as maybe heaven on earth, because we have all these conveniences. Like we have this peace, and we have the paid like medical bills, like, and everything is modern and everything is just top notch, right? But then you look at the mental health problems, and you look at how people actually how they look, they're very depressed, and they're on all kinds of medications, and they're obese, and they have skin problems, and they're stressed out of their mind, and relationships fall apart, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing, and relationships that are meant to fall apart stay together because of comfort, because they don't want to look bad into society's eyes and all of that. Instead of just focusing on themselves, they focus too much on what people think of them, and they buy a bigger, better car than their neighbor. They build their house better. They get a jacuzzi because their neighbor had it. Yeah, it's all just filling a void.
Yeah, before we're fucking with them, I want to think about you, because you are an interesting fucking guy, and I want to know, when did you discover that you have a perspective?
I realized from a pretty young age that my brain or like that I didn't work, like it didn't function like other people, but I didn't know really what it was. And I thought there was something wrong with me. I grew up with believing there was something wrong with me. And the information that I just could, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I had a few very tight friends, but that forced me into isolation a lot. And then my computer became like my best friend and the friends I had there, and that allowed me to browse the web and find information about what I thought then was unnecessary stuff, but I could just deep dive into whatever subject, and all of a sudden I just knew a lot of stuff about it, and I've been doing that since my teenage years, and now I'm 30. So, and that has developed through experiences, through trials and tribulations on myself. At 16, I found this thing called biohacking. After the movie Limitless came out, I was like, damn, I wanna try biohacking. But I didn't want to read on it. I read on it, but I wanted to try it as well. So I started biohacking myself at 16 with different substances.
How can you biohack yourself at 16?
There's ways. Biohack is enhancing your cognitive performance, or enhancing accessing more parts of your brain. It later evolved into biohacking started with enhancing the brain, and then it evolved into actually what is called biohacking, that you hack your own biology. But from the beginning, it was all about the cognitive performance. And I started out at 16, 17 with like ADHD meds, maybe, and different substances, like supplements from like your regular boutique or whatever, your shop, to see if it worked. And then as I grew older, that I started with a thing called modafinil, if you have heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
It was originally created for narcolepsy. And then they started using it in the military Air Force in England, because they realized that this has a lot of potential. And then they based the movie Limitless on that pill. So NCT48 is based on modafinil. And I did modafinil every day for like 2-3 years, just to see how deep I could go into my psyche and how much I could learn about myself. Basically, it was also self-sabotaging in one way, because it made me feel one way, and escapism in one way, and very rewarding in one way.
Yeah. All depends what the goal is. You know, like the moment you understand that when you actively do something, you are getting to the point that, like, wait, am I doing it like for myself, or am I obstacle in what's supposed to happen? You know what I mean? Like, if you're trying to biohack something, is it making a difference, like, that is overstepping what it is that you are supposed to do, or is it part of your way? You understand what I mean?
Yeah. I stopped with...
Make it a little bit down. Yeah.
I stopped with modafinil when I realized that eventually I didn't think I was good enough without it. So then I had to stop with it, because I realized that became a problem. But it was a great thing. I don't want to promote it, but
Kind
of was kind of good, you know. And then more and more information came out about biohacking influencers came up, and then they put out their own regimens, and in that was like testosterone and mood boosters and all sort. And I wanted to try it all, you know. I started with testosterone, saw the benefits of that and the negative side effects. And I've always been I wanted to experiment with myself because I would never want to tell anyone to do anything if I hadn't tried it myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was the question?
It does not matter. What makes like I'm trying to think about the chemistry in the brain of a 16, 17-year-old that feels like he needs to biohack something. Where does this feeling come from? What lack does someone has to have?
It stems from obviously it stems from not thinking you're good enough as you are.
Yeah.
And together with I want to explore. Yeah, but yeah, it stems from the basis probably that I didn't think I was good enough as I was.
Do you remember why you thought you were not good enough as you are?
Yeah, comparison is the thief of joy, and I compared myself to people who were superior to me in things I wanted to be good at instead of looking what I was good at, and working on those strengths. So maybe like comparing me to the top athletes, because they had the friends and they were cool. They did all the goals and stuff. And so yeah, then I compare me to that instead of, well, I'm an excellent communicator, and I'm fairly intelligent. So, but yeah, you always want to have what you don't have, right?
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. And just, do you remember one of the comparisons that you used to make with others? Like, I'm just trying to see, sure. Like, it's so crazy that the Western world, the way we grew up, makes us feel like we're never enough. We always need to go for the next thing that will make us feel good based on how much salary we're going to get and based on how big the things are based on everything that is not correlated with our soul, with our purpose, with what it is that it's like taking, getting like a poker hand dealt to you and playing a different fucking game with it because you're like, oh, like those cards are like the fact that the king or the ace is the best doesn't mean that if you don't have like 4 twos on the table now, you gotta adapt yourself to the situation that you are in. And trying, like Einstein said, trying to judge a tree, a fish based on how it climbs a tree, you know, it's not going to take us anywhere.
No.
So give me an example for a comparison that you made and how it made you feel in yourself.
I think I've always been pretty not happy with my body and how my physique has been and how the muscle insertions and so on. And now I'm talking from a young perspective. Yeah. Right now I couldn't give too much fucks, to be honest. Yeah. And there was these athletes, especially like you come from Sweden, and so there was also like a hierarchy of teenagers. I don't come from money and stuff, and there was this as a group of guys that I thought was very cool. They came from money and they all played hockey. Yeah, and I looked up to them and I thought they were very cool. And at that time I never felt like I fit into my classmates or my school and so on, and they went to another school. So yeah, I started hanging out with them a lot, and I started comparing myself to maybe their physiques, but they've been working out, you know, they've been fucking going hard at hockey, you know, but I liked them and I thought they were cool, but that got me into sort of imbalance. And then in the teenage years, your body grows differently. All of a sudden, you have size 10 on feet, and you're like 165 centimeters tall, and you have these boots that, you know, and then teenagers, they bully and they make fun, and yeah, I wasn't the best kid in school either. I took opportunities to say some things, but people they said some things to me as well, and I took that to heart, and that eventually just snowballed into insecurities, and that's why I'm very, very thorough now with not pushing people down, just raising everybody that I see, because I know how much words can mean to people, and you never know what kind of spot they're in inside their head.
It's a big lesson. And like, do you remember the point where you were like, okay, I'm gonna be there for others because I don't want anyone to feel like I felt?
Yeah, I do.
Guide me through it.
It was my first time I went to Thailand after I tried to kill myself. Yeah, that was it. That was when, because I had when I came to Thailand, I had a period of ecstatic bliss where everything was very clear to me. I got clarity, and I understood what life was about for a short period of time. You know, you have the and then you know, yeah. And that was when I decided that I would rather I would never ever want anyone to hurt themselves as much as I've hurt myself and hurt others, because I've hurt others in bad ways psychologically, I want to dedicate my life to help others with not hurting as much as I've done.
Yeah, it's not easy to be in the spot that you have nothing more to lose because you don't care about anything anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy being in the spot that, like, usually my relationship with hope is not the best because I don't think it's really necessary, but to lose it is kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's easy for your relationship to be like kind of separate from it when you understand what hope is.
Yeah.
But when you don't have it and you feel drained and you have nothing to fight for and you have nothing to live for.
Yeah.
Do you want to share the story
that led up to my first suicide attempt?
Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. I can do that.
Only if you're comfortable.
Yeah. I had I was engaged to a woman in Sweden. I had a few companies together with my father and one on my own, and everything was going good, and like we had our challenges like every other relationship basically, and then COVID came, just snuck up on you. We got isolated, and stuff started going out, coming, like shaking up. That was like the catalyst for it, I think. We continued our relationship, but it was kind of off or not. But we continued to be there for each other, and she continued to be there a bit more for me than I did, because I had my companies and they to work on, and my partner at that time, she had some grief to take care of because her grandmother had died. So she was suffering from panic attacks, and she needed me a lot more than I could give her. So what happened basically was, since I was previously biohacking and turning to substances to enhance myself, I started Googling, because I was like, okay, I'm dabbling with these companies and they're not going great right now. And my fiance, she needs me. I need some aid. So I started Googling, and that's where I found kratom, which is legal here in Thailand. Yeah, it was legal in Sweden back then as well. Ordered that, got hooked immediately, got super addicted very fast, very fast. And things went on, like things went great. It went back to balance, but to order, but it was just a mask, and it was bound to go to explode, right? The spark got lost. I lost myself. I'm taking full accountability for everything that I put her through. But with the newfound knowledge that I have, I can see why it happened and how it happened. But that doesn't necessarily make it that it was all me. It was my fault. I started cheating on her, and that sort of made me feel extremely even more bad, which then escalated into me. The kratom wasn't numbing the feelings anymore.
Yeah.
So what happened is I started using tramadol and oxycodone, and to numb the feelings and the shame and guilt that I felt, and I was just downward spiral. We fast pace forward. I am in a meeting in Malmö, and I go to the hotel after the meeting, and I consumed a lot of tramadol that night. A lot. Yeah, and I call her on FaceTime and we talk, and then all of a sudden I start feeling that there's something wrong with me. So she actually calls the ambulance and tells the ambulance what room I am in. And they have to carry me out from the hotel room and put me in the emergency and watch over me during the night. When I told them how much I had taken, they were really fucking worried. But I hid all that. I hid everything from my ex-fiance.
Yeah.
I dabbled with steroids. I dabbled with drugs. I went behind her back with another woman. And I lived a double life, and that was such a horrible experience. I hurt myself, and I hurt her, and I hurt her family in ways I can't even imagine. And when she found out, I remember I was washing my car, and she calls me, and she shouts at me, and she says that she found out. And I remember I just got stone cold. I didn't even bother to go home to us. I went straight to my parents. Tried to detox from opioids on my parents' couch, and we're talking. I did 160 milligrams of oxycodone a day.
Oh, wow.
For a little less than a year, plus kratom. But I wanted to quit cold turkey whilst my whole world was falling apart. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's go. So I slept on I slept on my parents' couch for a while. I think it's like 3, 4, 5 days, maybe a week. And the final night, I couldn't really handle my thoughts or whatever. So I took everything I had left. I had 320 milligrams of oxycodone left. I had 50 Xanax, and I had 5 Valium. And I took all of it in under 2 minutes. And that was like, I was proud of myself because it felt like I finally had the courage to not be anybody's burden anymore. And then I fell asleep, and I woke up 4 or 5 hours after, sober. Nothing. like nothing. And I was like, oh, okay, what's going on? Like, is this the afterlife? I was kind of spiritually inclined already then, because my ex-fiance and her family and her grandma was very into it. So they introduced me to it and so forth. So I'd been seeing a shaman in Sweden. So I went to the shaman a couple of days later and told him about all this. And what he said, he's like, Måns was my name. He's like, Måns, opiates are the only drug that gives you a taste of heaven. But for you to like get a taste of heaven, you have to pay with a bit of your soul. I was like, and he's like, you have no soul left. I was like, what? And he laughed. He's like, you have no soul left. It's like, okay. He's like, well, don't worry. You can get another soul. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, what do you mean? He's like, you have to go somewhere where you've had a previous life. I was like, oh, where's that? It's in Southeast Asia. I said, where? Where you book your ticket. That's what he said. And I was like, okay, it's where I book my ticket. That's kind of cryptic, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
But the same day, I booked my last minute ticket to Krabi, to Thailand, and I was still coming down or coming off of opioids. It's not a fun experience. Like, you feel like your bones are about to implode. And you have heat waves coming all the time, and you can't eat, you can't sleep, you have restless legs. And I had all of these symptoms still after after taking all that. But then my father, he drove me to the airport, and the second that I stepped on that plane, a surge of energy just came over me and said, you're fine. You're safe now. I'm going to take care of you. And all of these negative emotions, negative feelings just went away for a while. And I got to experience how life was, without living with guilt and shame, and living in my true authenticity, in my truth.
That's very, first of all, thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening.
100%. Like, I'm with you there, brother. And like,
yeah, you've had
it's always,
right? Similar experience, right?
Kinda. Yeah. But I am like, I know what it feels like, again, to lose this hope, to see yourself as a burden, as full of guilt, of shame, and like, but even in those emotions, you can still find the hints of you telling yourself where you need to go. Because even if when you have this shame and guilt, you're getting to the spot of like, okay, like the first thing I want to do is to stop feeling the feelings. Like, what am I doing in order to change those feelings? And then you say something interesting, which is like, the moment you just went on the plane, it vanished. So does it mean that we have an on and off switch in our brain, and we are choosing to carry this guilt? We are choosing to carry this shame. We are choosing to feel burden for us, for something in our mind, in our spirit, in our heart, in the universe, to push us to do something. So the fact that we do feel this guilt and we do feel this shame, does it mean that it comes from an anonymous like source?
No.
Or like, we choose to feel those emotions? Why do you think that is?
I've read this quote a bunch of times, like lately, past couple of years, where it comes up on my feed. It's like, I had to make you uncomfortable or else you wouldn't have moved. And maybe that is, maybe I have to become that uncomfortable because I refuse to listen to my intuition a lot of times. I'm really good at it now after getting fucking smashed in the face a couple of times, you know? I'm pretty good at it now.
Yeah, well, bro.
yeah. But yeah, I think it's both. I think it's as within, so without. I think there's an external source, whatever you want to call it, that is synchronized with the internal source. And I think that we're talking about God's source or the creators, whatever you want to call it. And, it's how it works. It's just, it has a job, and you decide how hard you want it. You know, if you listen to it first time, good on you. It doesn't care if you listen to it the first time or if you listen to it the 100th time.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse, and it just is. It just is. Like, you listen to the first time, you're not going to get applause. You listen to the 100th time, you're not going to, nobody's going to feel, source is not going to feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
You just refuse to listen. You know, it's like, it's all just a lesson.
It's like
you're a student.
Yeah, you are. And then we are starting like trying to help others. And then we understand that it's like we cannot take credit over it because it's not us. We're like, of course, you listen to it once, no problem. You will not get any applause, even for 100th and the millionth times. But the more you will listen to it, the louder it will get and the more accurate it will get.
Yeah.
And the connection that you have to this voice will be better, and you will slowly learn how to listen to this voice and how to recognize this voice from all the other voices. I don't know how many voices you have in your brain. I have a couple of them.
Not to be disclosed here, D.
I have a couple of them.
Yeah.
So the more you listen to the specific one that is connected to your gut feeling, that is the creator, whatever you are comfortable with calling it, because God can trigger some, and the universe can trigger some, and karma can trigger some, and yourself can trigger some. So it does not matter how you choose to call it. It matters how it feels when you act upon it.
Yeah.
And we all know, each and every one of us knows that when we listen to this voice, the voice of guts that tells us this is right, this is wrong.
Yeah.
Help this lady move the road. Help this kid with the fucking, I don't know, cars that was spilled on the whatever.
Yeah.
Help. Be there for others.
But be there for others. And also one thing so if you don't listen to your gut, if you are prone to making those decisions based on your gut feeling, then God, the universe, is gonna give you other hints. So it's gonna unlock an awareness in you that makes you able to recognize patterns in people. Since you and I, we've sort of agreed on that. People are an archetype that comes into your life, and if you want to listen to your gut, then the archetype will show up and do the same thing in a behavior pattern. So it's pattern recognition. And if you're not going to listen to your intuition, then maybe you should just observe the pattern recognition and walk away,
Yeah.
Because the gut can be tricky and the heart can be tricky, but pattern recognition is always going to be pattern recognition.
Yeah.
And if they do the same things, then expect the same result. So, example, in a heartbreak, if you meet a girl, you meet a woman, and you immediately start feeling things that, wow, this is something, and all of a sudden you start seeing these behavioral patterns that you've seen, almost like scary. They say the same things and everything because it's the same archetype in a different body.
Yeah.
And last time, this was your first time meeting this archetype, but your gut feeling told you something. So now the second time, okay, here comes the same archetype and the same behavioral pattern and the same gut feeling that eventually, okay, this is the second time. Maybe, okay, if I care about myself now, maybe I should walk the fuck away.
Yeah.
Either
walk away or try to just change a little bit.
I can save you.
I can do my best.
Yeah. I can save her. Oh God, I can.
You can't.
Yeah.
You cannot save her.
No.
You can save yourself.
Yes, by walking away.
Yeah.
Yes.
And guide me through the shift that happened between the time that you understand that you want to help others and the time that you actually started doing it. Thought and action.
Wow, it's been such a wild ride. Because after that, and I came to Thailand, I went to Krabi, and Krabi isn't very much like KohPhanCast, KohPhanCast is very special. But I was thinking out, I wanted to help others out of in a 3D perspective, because I thought my awareness and my consciousness was very limited to human consciousness, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, maybe I should be a motivational speaker, or maybe I should just be a life coach, because that was the limiting beliefs that I had on my brain. And then I came home to Sweden, and I realized that there's a lot of radical changes going on in me. I met a girl in Thailand that first time after, actually from my hometown, amazing woman. And we were together, and she came home, and she was in Thailand, and I went home in April, and she came home in May, and I picked her up, and we went and bought a dog together and stuff. And we still have the dog today, and then we moved in. But anyways, there was one night which I remember very vividly, which I now when I look back, I have the knowledge to correlate these events to each other, or before I didn't. So I was sitting in the couch, and my Olivia is her name. She went down to get laundry, and I was sitting watching TV. All of a sudden, like my third eye, my pineal gland was starting to vibrate. Like there was like a bulldozer in my head. I was like, what the is going on? My hand started tingling, like 1,000 needles came out of my fingers. It hurt. But I still was in that 3D consciousness, so I didn't understand. I thought there was something wrong with me. My feet started tingling as well, and I had no idea what it was until the universe or God started feeding me information of what it was, like 6 months later through algorithm, so I remember the first video I saw was like, when there was a real like Kundalini awakening. I was like, I don't want this Indian shit. What the fuck is Kundalini? You know, it's like, what the fuck is that? You know, like, I don't want a Kundalini activation. Like, no, I want to be Superman. You know, like,
come on.
Yeah, come on.
Don't give it this.
Yeah. So with this, and at the same time, I was not grounded enough. So it spiraled me into sort of a pretty deep spiritual psychosis, to be honest. I was in deep in this psychosis state. So I was and in the spiritual awakening phase or Kundalini awakening phase, whatever, they're two separate things. But in the Kundalini awakening phase, one phase is that you have to go through a spiritual psychosis, and in this spiritual psychosis, you're gonna have to get so deep into the psychosis that you fully believe that you are the only one prophet on this planet to save planet Earth, to build you up, because your programming is there, it's down there. You believe that you're built for 9 to 5, and so what the spiritual psychosis does is shows you a lot of things, right? Shows you a lot of things and gives you a lot of knowledge. Like, for example, in the song "Crazy" in Gnarls Barkley, he sings about a spiritual psychosis, and if you listen to the lyrics, it's just very clear that that's what he sings about. You're not crazy because you don't know enough. You're crazy because you know too much. When the spiritual psychosis phase comes in, it's like you are an old Nokia phone, and you're downloading the entire web all at the same time. And your vessel cannot keep up with that, and your brain cannot keep up with that. So all of a sudden you get these weird fucking downloads, and you know, all of a sudden you're the fucking messiah, and everybody else is not, you know. And this is just a phase that you have to go through. And then it went on, and I started to get more and more balanced, and then
What was the thing that got you out of it? Because I remember my spiritual psychosis.
Yeah, you had one as well.
Of course, I remember. I was like 24, 25, eating unimaginable amounts of LSD and other drugs, you know, by myself, in my place, not looking at anyone, you know, and like, the messages were great, but I was just too sure that I was the one creating it. You know, and the moment you think that your brain chemistry is what makes those messages, while you have little bits of ego still there,
or a lot,
probably.
Probably
more than a little bit, you know, more than a little bit. But then you're like, then you can, okay, I now have this table in my mind of all those messages and the perspective that I have on them. And like, I cannot be the one to invent this, because people are saying it for thousands of years already. So I'm not the inventor.
No.
So what is this channel that that my frequency is adapting to and connecting to? That brings this beautiful knowledge here.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think is this cloud of bliss or this source of energy that we are connecting to when those kind of thoughts
The one we call Akashic Records.
enlighten me.
Yeah. So basically, none of the downloads that you have is wrong because there are infinite amount of realities. So you basically decide your own reality. And if you think historically, what you decide to be history is going to be history. If you want Adolf Hitler to be a saint, the universe is going to give you proof of him being a saint. Because that's your reality. You are bending your own reality to your own will. And if you believe that Adolf Hitler was a bad person, vice versa, then Adolf Hitler is going to be a bad person. That is why you see this segregation between the political parties, and people. So divide and conquer. So they know, that you're divided. Like in your reality, the liberals in America are the best people, and in their reality, the Democrats are the best. The Republicans are the best people, because in their reality, they are the best people, and in their reality, they are the best people based on based on their programming, nothing else. Because they only see the good in that faction, and they only see the good in that faction, and that works with everything. So so you grow up, you believe that the Earth is globe, all right? Then all of a sudden, some guy comes and he's like, bro, do you know?
You know what, bro?
He's like, the Earth is flat. And the first time someone said that to me, I was like, bro, I'll smack the fuck. Don't say that. I'll smack shit out of you. Don't say that. You're my friend. I don't want you.
Yeah.
And then he started sending me all of these videos and like actually like facts and really valuable information and videos. And fake NASA videos where they hang in threads and shit. That made me, my autistic brain, all of a sudden I wanted to go deep dive down that rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I did. And all of a sudden I thought that the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
So, and then I have to dive some more. So since the Earth can be both a globe and it can be flat, and two people who think differently can coexist.
Yeah.
That means that you have to come to the conclusion that the Earth is a hologram. It's a hologram, and it renders as you go. And if you think that the Earth is a globe, it's going to be a globe. And if you think that the Earth is flat, it's going to be flat. That means it's a hologram. You decide what you want it to be.
Definitely. And yet again, I'm saying this, like in my reality, in how my life works, it doesn't even matter.
No, it doesn't.
So there are so many different pits and obstacles that you can spend a lifetime at just discussing whether it's real or not, when nothing, nothing is as firm as we think it is, because like you say, we can bend anything that we want.
Yeah.
So just the sheer fact that, like, okay, the discussion of like, if I want to see two people like now fighting, oh, the Earth is round, oh, the Earth is flat. Guys, go to your families, tell them you love them. Who cares about this discussion? Right
Exactly.
now? Like, as I see it, we are here to explore ourselves, to the universe experience itself in a subjective way, to get more knowledge about itself and deepen into itself. The Earth can be a bagel for like, like the conspiracies. Like, I'm not gonna waste my time thinking and arguing and like horrificing this energy this presage energy that I got from this channel about those things.
Does that information serve you? No, it doesn't.
It does not matter. It's just another way of natural selection to make those who actually think what they need to think, and those who can spend some time, look at shit. And like people that dedicate themselves to those kind of tasks, I'm like, okay, if that's your goal, go for it. I'm not here to judge.
No, they hunger
loudly.
they hunger for knowledge, but I think that And I think that's also a phase. I think that everything is a phase in this world. And I think that the sooner that you realize that everything is a phase or a stage and there's lessons for you to learn, the sooner you can move on to a different phase, because it's about growth.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you can be stuck in being like,
You could be a baby for 90 years.
I'm not going to talk negatively, right? Like, for example, you can be stuck in being let's say, you can be stuck in being a shaman. Okay. Just this is a phase that you chose to be a shaman.
Yeah.
On this planet. That doesn't mean that's all you're going to be.
Yeah.
You guys just you can be so much, like, you gotta just learn what you have to learn from that phase of your life and then move on to the next life.
This word really icks me.
Shaman.
Like I of course it's resistance, it's me, but something about, like, okay, like shamans exist.
Yeah.
As I see it, shamans exist in the Amazon forest, in sacred places. Like, if we were born white in a Western world, like, unless you have a really, really specific story of going in this or meeting this, like, shaman these days became just another washed up word for someone that is trying to give something or trying to...
I think living in Copenhagen has probably ruined it for us a bit.
Probably. Honestly, I'm not
a lot of shamans here.
Every second person
is not a shaman.
Is, you know, and like the fact that you have a bottle next to you over there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Reach down. The fact that you met enlightenment and you looked at it in its eyes does not mean that you are enlightened.
No.
We can experience going in and out of enlightenment, no problem. But we are not enlightened, because no state can stay, because the only thing that is engraved in reality, in my eyes, is change.
You were enlightened before you incarnated, and you chose to become unenlightened because you wanted to feel because you got bored of being enlightened.
Yes, the illusion of separation is what makes you run to this amazing quest that we're living, this beautiful computer game, that the moment you have the controller in your hand and you're like, the controller is kind of buried under so many layers of like, oh, I am not enough. Oh, I'm just a little screw at the system. Oh, I gotta find a job. Oh, I gotta sustain myself. And when you push aside all those things that you got learned and unlearned, that you are just a mere human and I'm just this and I'm just a little piece of that and I did this, so I'm not deserving of that, and you just understand that when you like put this onion, like you shave it from all its layers and you get to the core of what it means just existing.
Yeah.
And when you see yourself in others and you see the spark that you have in your eyes when you speak about the things you love in someone else, and you understand that they come from the same space that you come from, just explaining it to themselves in a different way, because the experience that they went through are what shaped them to be who they are. So they experience the exact same emotions and the exact same feelings and everything. They just give it a different name because in their reality, they think this is what they need to fulfill the exact same need that you are fulfilling in your own way. Meaning that inside of us, like, the only shaman that really exists is the shaman that is within you, is this God consciousness that you can awaken your mind by listening to this inner voice.
Yeah.
Some other people can, like, they have this fire in their heart that when your fire is a little bit smaller, they will, like, help you fire it more.
Yeah.
This is the help.
But also, like, being a shaman is if we dissolve it, right? So being a shaman, it's basically programming. So and it's belief. So that's why there's a lot of shamans in South America, in Peru, and so on, because they have shared beliefs of shamanry, which means that thing inside of you of being a shaman is more accepting, and so being a shaman is it's just you channeling different energies for different purposes.
Yeah.
For example, like if someone in Sweden would have been a shaman, or someone from that aren't really surrounded by shamans, they can become a shaman, but it will require a vast amount of rewiring your subconscious to allow yourself to actually fully believe that what you are channeling is the truth.
Yeah.
So, and to allow you to go into the shamanic state. That is why they know how it works, and they're 100% certain how it works. So they can easily go into the shamanic state, and they have books and knowledge from their ancestors and everything of rituals and sessions, and they have a lot of belief in their ancestors and grandfathers and grandmothers. So when they read this, what their ancestor wrote, they're actually 100% going to believe it, and that is what makes it work. Whilst if you gave a book to a Swedish guy who doesn't even know what a shaman is, and he's gonna, like, he can be a shaman, but he just have to rewire his subconscious, like program, like totally. And in 1 year, he's gonna be a shaman if he just believes and knows enough of how to become a vessel for energies.
Exactly.
And entities.
It's not the act that the shaman is doing.
No.
That I have a problem with. It's what became out of it.
It's the new age bullshit fucked it up.
Yeah.
The new age made it less
cheesy, and just like, like everybody that kind of had couple psychedelic experiences are trying to, and at some point we all share from experience.
Yeah.
And the moment we understand that, like, as I told you once also already, there's something about self-proclaimed, like, titles that are raising walls at the people that we are trying to help. Yeah.
So in the beginning, after my little incident in Lanta, which we're going to get to, but in the beginning, I saw myself as a shaman, and what I did was a lot of shamanic stuff, and I acted as a shaman, and I can still do that today. But what it actually does is so I have trouble being relatable as it is. All right.
How?
Yeah, exactly. So, and what you want to be able to help people, you have to be relatable, and you have to be able to function on different threads of consciousness.
To connect.
And if you go and say that you're a shaman, all of a sudden, this young woman or this young man, they're not going to see you as relatable, and you're not going to get into that. You're not going to be able to reach them in the same way. So taking down that title has really allowed me to help people in different ways. Even though I may be still doing the same things which I do, but I would not name myself a shaman because it makes me less relatable. And I'm having a trouble being relatable to a lot of people anyways.
What do you think that is?
Because we have, I don't know. I do know. I don't know how to put it in words. So if I were to be like as I am right now, that it would be a problem being relatable. But I know how to operate on other threads of consciousness, which allows me to be relatable to different people, different types of people. With different lifestyles, like, because I've had the majority of the lifestyles of the people that I meet, so I can relate to them. But if I were to go full crazy mode, nobody would have, like, I think you're one of the few that I've met that can understand me, or at least pretend that you understand.
Because I know how crazy I am.
Exactly. Exactly.
I know what it's like showing people only 20% because they cannot handle, and they will not take you seriously.
Exactly.
And then you meet your family.
Yeah. No, bro.
You meet the people.
Oh, I mean, it's soul tribe. Family. Yeah, okay. I thought you meant family.
You meet no. Usually it's exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
It's
Psych ward.
It's that's a nice point, because you start with the people that think they know you the most. That's why when you go back home sometimes and people treat you exactly like they used to treat you based on who they think you were, when you are a completely different person. Like I haven't been in Israel in 2 years.
No.
If I want to go back there, like, okay, that people know that I am this guy, but like, they're going to try to treat me as I was then, which I'm not. And that's definitely will trigger something coming up.
Of course.
Because
you're
we're
probably
still
gonna
humans.
you're probably gonna tune into that frequency bit more than you actually think that you will.
Yeah.
Because it's if once you've been in a frequency, it's always easier to get back to that frequency, and that's why. So that is what addiction is. That is what finding back to old friend groups that doesn't really serve you anymore, that are stuck in the same cycle. So going out Friday, Saturday, if you go back to the town and you still have contact with these people, trust me, you're going to go back to the habits that they have. Or if you don't, you're going to feel miserable because your frequency just wants to go there, you know.
To be relatable.
Yeah.
To be part of something. To feel accepted.
Yeah.
Even if the people that you want that will accept you will worsen how it is that you think.
Yeah.
You would still want their validation because you need connection.
Of course.
And like, do you have any tool that you use to understand if the voice in you that wants this connection, if this connection is going to be beneficial for you, if this connection is going to hurt you? Like, give me some of your thought processes and little mind games that you play with yourself to understand where you stand at the current moment.
So I believe everybody I meet is a messenger from God, and that's my theory, or whatever you want to call it. Everybody that I meet is a messenger from God. Whatever they say, however they act, is up to me to learn something about myself from. And if I say something and they react in a way that is totally out of alignment of my own beliefs, then I get better at walking away. For example, because I know that I am extremely, extremely good at what I do, and I know that I have a lot of knowledge. So, for example, if we were to come into a conversation where someone who's maybe not as involved in quantum mechanics or spirituality or whatever starts naysaying it, that immediately it tells me that this individual has a firewall within it, and that makes that it's not ready to hear what I have to say, and that if it's not ready, then this person is not able to learn. And that if I'm before I just started, I tried to push it down people's throat.
Yeah.
And now I just plant seeds and I walk away, and that saves us both a lot of time. It's for them and for me. And sometimes people can be very, very, very open in the beginning, and they want to hear everything. And then you can notice that, like, after a week, they start to sway away or to distance themselves when they don't ask questions, or when you express your opinion on something, you can see that they shut down. And it's not their fault. It's just their subconscious subconsciousness, or whatever what you call it, protecting them from too much knowledge in too short of a time, so they don't end up having a spiritual psychosis or stuff like that.
Not a lot of people can go through deep, hard sessions of unveiling what it is.
No, you have to be an insanely insane human being to go down that rabbit hole and still and continue going down.
Yeah.
It takes another level of insanity.
Yeah. And like we already talked about it, like when you are kind of like, because we're never done like shedding the skins of being a human, because there's always like a deeper layer. But when you're kind of in an understanding of like, okay, I kind of dealt with my own scars, so now I can go and reveal things that are more collective for all of us as humans. I can go down in like what it means not being or and shedding my experiences and looking how it affected me, what it means being a human.
And realize that the things that you went through because you're supposed to help those people that are going through it. Your particular group of collective.
Yeah.
You are there to be their torch. And to realize that it wasn't in vain, you know, and the collective that are going through what you went through are going to find you, and you're going to help them in so many ways that you can't even fathom.
Yeah.
And that makes, when you have that mindset, that perspective, that makes it worth it. That makes the suffering, the heartbreak, the loss, the grief, everything, the near-death experiences, the suicide attempts, it makes it all worth it, because those people are going to find their way to you, and you've already stepped on the landmines, so they don't have to. You have the tools. They see you and know what you've gone through, and you're sitting here and you're happy and you're spreading love. That gives them so much hope, and hope that maybe we didn't have, because we probably had too much of an ego to listen to anyone anyways.
Well,
you know,
you need to be at least a little bit delusional.
Yeah, no, I'm very delusional.
Yeah.
And so are you.
Yeah.
I love being delusional.
It's the best. The fact that it became like a negative term is so beyond me.
Yeah.
Because I say it a lot, but to pave a new way, you gotta see roads that do not exist. You gotta see those ghosts.
Yeah.
You gotta see those things that are not yet existing. You gotta be delusional to make something new.
Of course. What's the worst thing that can happen?
I'm gonna die.
Yeah. You can't die.
Am I gonna die? Like, you told me a really, really nice point once, saying that like I'm gonna experience only others' deaths.
Yeah.
What do you mean by it?
Comes down to quantum physics and quantum mechanics. So the universe that we function in is binary and quantum. And there's a theory. I'm not gonna sit there and say that it's the absolute truth, because people are gonna but it's
walls,
but
resistance, fuck this guy.
No, it is the truth. It is the absolute truth. The quantum immortality is the theory that you will never ever die in your own reality. You will never experience your own death. You haven't experienced it, and you don't even know if you've had previous lives, or if this is or if that is something that is just there for a lore. You don't even know if anything existed before you were born, because it probably didn't. It's just there for character development. And you are never ever going to experience your own death. And the majority of the people around you are going to die, but you're not going to die. You're going to ascend. And ascending means that you're going to raise your vibration and quantum leap into timelines where there's new worlds. So for example, everybody has an event where they say, I should have died. That moment I should have died. What you did die. That version of you did die, but you quantum leaped into a timeline where you survived. And that's going to go on and go on and go on until your prophecy is fulfilled. And then you don't even know when that prophecy is fulfilled. And that's the beauty of it. And then you're going to ascend, and there's going to open up new opportunities, new worlds, or whatever you want to call it. And that's going to go on, and you don't know, but you're going to get information more and more the more you ask.
Absolutely. And like there's something so wholesome about, like, I'm going to call it theory. It might be the truth. I'm all for it. That you cannot like give a proof for something like that, because the only proof you need is your gut feeling, this voice that is the subject in all this conversation, the source within us that is equal to the source out there, like as you said, as above, so below. There is no tree that can go to heaven if the roots doesn't go to hell. We gotta experience both sides. We gotta understand that living life from inside out, projecting what it is that, like, if I can see clearly the source in myself, I can also clearly project it out. And that's why, like, I hadn't heard one person that had a perspective that was life-changing, that was unbelievable, that didn't suffer, that didn't go through the worst of the worst, through depression, through anxiety.
It's called the dark night of the soul.
Elaborate.
It's a phase which is called the dark night of the soul. It's where, so you have this manifestation, you have this wish, you have this vision where you want to go, but your vision do not align with who you are. You have a lot of fears, you have a lot of blockages, you have a lot of trauma. For your manifestations to come true, you gotta become that version that you have to be to, for example, you manifest, you want to become the CEO of Microsoft. Yeah, you're not going to sit in the couch and become the CEO of Microsoft. The universe is going to bend to your will, and it's going to come with trials and tribulations and purge you of all fears and all traumas, and you're going to develop new fears and traumas upon purging those traumas, and your life is going to go to hell. Everything is going to fall apart that doesn't serve you. So people, places, everything is just going to turn around. Like if you're stuck in a city where you're too big, everybody's going to hate you. Everybody's going to shut you down. Everybody's going to talk shit about you, and they're going to spread rumors about you, and you're going to have no friends left because none of these friends can follow you into becoming the CEO of Microsoft. And it's a bunch of, depending on how deep rooted your fears and traumas and blockages are, it can get really nasty. So that is why there's this saying, like, be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. It's like, do you really want it? Do you really want to go through this?
Exactly. We only see the tip of the iceberg when we look for something, because we only see the positive thing that we want for it to make for us when we want it. But we don't see, again, like I said, the back office of what it is having this thing. Like, you can just, I want this amount of money, I want this amount of power, no problem, take. What are you gonna do now? 60%, 70% of people lose their shit after getting a lot of money. Like, you need to understand what it is. To have something, like the context, it's all in the context. Like, it's gonna be so beautiful having this because it's gonna solve the current problem that I'm having. But instead of thinking, okay, it's gonna solve this problem, what about all the things that it's going to create in the future? Like, something about setting the next situation that you're gonna go towards based on the last situation that you had, in my mind, is kind of fault. Because I'm trying to bring past conclusions into a future experience, and by that I completely disconnect myself from the natural flow of things, and I'm getting back to the box of what helped me before, and I didn't forget. I want to hear Lanta accident.
We can go back, because we started talking about the Kundalini, and then we went. So you asked me, when did you realize what you wanted to do, your purpose? And I thought I wanted to be a life coach or help people feel good. And then I came home, and my Kundalini got activated. And when the Kundalini gets spontaneous, when you get a spontaneous Kundalini activation, it surges through your body, and it triggers the dark night of the soul. And every blockage, every fear that you have, every limiting self-belief just goes to the shitter. You have to face it. That's it. And you end up in spiritual psychosis. You think that you're the only Messiah on this planet of Earth that's gonna save planet Earth. You're gonna cure poverty, and you're gonna be able to fly like Superman and shoot lasers from.
I'm gonna go get my cape custom made.
But all that happens because here was your belief system. Here was your beliefs about yourself from the beginning. So what you have to get an induced spiritual psychosis, so your beliefs get up here.
Yeah.
So that you will find middle ground here, and all of a sudden you start believing in yourself, and in a pre-grounded way, in a normal way, instead of there or there, because you are an amazing human being. We all are, and you are destined for greatness. Everybody is. But that was when I started reading about Kundalini and what it does, and not only what I can do with my hands and the energy. You felt the energy giving you a few sessions, and
I did.
Yeah. Also what it unlocks in me, intuitively, and my ability to read people and read their energies, and to see their auras, and to tell people what it means, and then also gain. Yeah, we can come to that. But yeah, the Kundalini has catapulted me into a whole different perspective on how much I actually can help people.
Yeah.
And how insanely good I am at it. And I love that I'm so good at it, because it's one of the most rewarding things you can do is being good at helping. It doesn't matter who comes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what problem you have. I have the competence to help you. And to actually know that isn't, because I was battling with imposter syndrome for my entire life. Yeah, exactly. And exactly. So now, it's so new to me to walk around and just, no matter who comes into my life and asks me to help them, I will help them with no matter what problem they have, and they're going to feel so much better after. And they're going to help me as well. But, it's like, it's such a 180 flip.
It is.
Yeah, walking around thinking that you're nothing to realizing that you are actually something is a relief.
Because you moved the switch that we have in our soul. That is not, no matter how long of a process you think you need to have in order to light it up. At the end of the day, at the last second, just after you finish this whole process that you thought you needed to go through, you are actively deciding to turn it on. So you can save all the time of all the process that you thought you needed and just light it up. Just understand that it's a matter of a decision to be in a good space, to conquer your needs and your wants and whatever it is that you think you are. And the only thing that you just need to do is to connect inwards and just be a good human.
Yeah. And honestly, sometimes to be humble is a great gift. You have to be humble. But sometimes you really, really, really have to look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you are the shit. You are the fucking star of the show until you actually believe it. But do it every day until you believe that you are the star of the show, that you are the main character. If you have to believe that you are the only one, just to get you out of that imposter syndrome, then it is good, because you're going to do well with that self-belief that you've just programmed into your subconscious.
Yeah.
That also,
yeah.
It's way better that you believe that you are better and the shit than to believe that you are nothing.
Of course. It starts from you being the only one that believes it, but it spreads. And at some point, you're undeniable.
Yeah. And then you can be humble.
Yeah.
Instead of doing a Conor McGregor.
No, this fucking guy. At least, it's so much you have a sentence on your chest. It's you rather be a warrior in a garden than a garden.
It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Exactly. Just sharpen your tools and understand that nobody will tell you that you're the shit if you're not going to tell it to yourself.
Exactly.
You're going to tell it to yourself. You're going to become that. And then people are going to see you.
Yeah.
Because you are that. Because you are everything. But what others see is what you choose to express. Whether you know you're expressing it or not, it's still a vibration that people get off you. So based on what you give, people are going, okay, we can say that people are also like get a certain vibe based on what they look through, you know, and like what you project and how people perceive is two different things. Like it is what it is. But just the understanding that, like you said, it's so much better to just be there for yourself for no reason. You don't need to acquire something or have something or get something or whatever to think that to think highly of yourself. Like we got so attached, coming back to the start of the conversation, we got so attached on judging ourselves based on materialism, based on possessions, based on acquiring things, based on power. And just look at the bigger scale, like people that has enormous amount of power, the real ones does not need to use it. Like whoever wants that, like there's two kinds of extremely rich people. Those that come with the suit and try to show that they're rich, and those that come with the flip-flops and doesn't give a fuck. Those are the real rich people.
Yeah.
The ones that don't need to prove anything.
Yeah.
The ones that acquire their power because they have it.
Yeah.
And they does not need anyone else to recognize their power just to be able to experience it because they already have it for real.
Yeah.
I want to listen to this Lanta story.
All right. Yeah. This was last year in March. Me and an old friend of mine, we went to, he was traveling already. He was in Vietnam and I told him to go to Koh Lanta or Thailand. And, he's like, oh, I don't. I'll buy you a ticket. You come with me to Krabi, and I came with him to Krabi. We had the craziest time ever. Like it was very, very like wash machine. You know. Yeah. We lost 4 scooters. We lost our passports. Everything. It was crazy. It was, none of us remembered anything of what had happened, and we didn't even know if we did drugs or not. So it was a crazy experience, but, we go to Koh Lanta, and, the day after, we were there for a while. We're having a good time. We're doing some drugs. Yeah, of course. Having some fun. And, the last day of Koh Lanta, we're in before we're gonna go to KohPhanCast, because my girlfriend was in KohPhanCast then. He is curious about mushrooms. He want to do mushrooms, so I say, yeah, we can go and do mushrooms. They have a bar called Mushroom Bar there. We walk over there. We go over there, and I order him a mushroom shake, and I take a sip out of it, just sip or two, to see if it was good, like, and it tasted a lot of mushrooms. I gave him it, and he devoured it. He devoured that. It was a strong shit, but it was a fucking strong shake. But and our Mushroom Bar, everybody has been there. You know, there's sand carpets outside of Mushroom Bar. This was in the middle of the night, and the sun was out, and it was night. It was dark, and I lay down on the sand carpets, and so does he. After 10 minutes or so of laying down, I start feeling that something is not adding up right now. I start tripping, and I look at my friend, and I was like, how are you? Are you tripping? Like, it's like, no, I don't feel anything. I was like, you had the whole shake. I just had 2 sips. I am tripping balls. I am tripping so much right now. And he's like, something is not right, you know? And he's like, I don't feel anything. I was like, okay. He's like, I'm gonna lay here, because it became one of these, it felt like a shroom trip, you know, where it's dark, you know, the sky became pitch black. I was like, and all I could see was a bonfire and people dancing around it a bit like further down. Yeah. And something in me told, just lay still and smoke your cigarettes, basically. So what I did is it got worse and worse and worse. And I smoked my cigarettes and, just watched people dancing around the bonfire. And like 1-2 hours later, my friend comes back and he is tripping so much. He is so high. And he's like, Mons, I went down to the pool and there was a bunch of cobras in that pool, but I chose to go down anyways. Because I told him that you're not going to bite me because I'm a good guy. And he went down to the pool with a bunch of cobras, you know. That's what he said. I was like, fucking hell. All right. I still had no idea what happened to me. So I have no idea. I think I'm tripping on shrooms. Yeah. And it's that the night goes on, and like 3 or 4 hours into his trip, basically he's crashing out. He's having he took an heroic dose and he's feeling it. You know, he comes to me, he's like, why does God hate me? Why does God hate me? I was like, he doesn't hate you. He doesn't hate you. Can you relax? He doesn't hate you, bro. Like, relax. He doesn't hate you. And I'm feeling like shit when I'm here. Like, when this is happening, I'm feeling horrible. But I can't tell him because he's feeling...
You're a space holder.
Yes. Yeah. So I was like, it's no problem, bro. God loves you. God loves you. He's like, no, he doesn't. Like, I was like, do you want to go home? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. We go find the tuk-tuk, go to the resort. And he starts to calm down the tuk-tuk trip. You know, he's finally out of there. He's like, he's getting grounded. And then we come to the resort and I go and take a shower and I come out of the shower. He's like, bro, how are you feeling? I was like, what do you mean? I feel like shit. Why? He's like, how are you feeling? He's like, I feel like shit. And then he looks at the back of my thigh. He's like, bro, you've been bit. You've been bit. For real. It's like, fuck, I've been bit. I've been bit by a snake. I just had it in me. I had this feeling. I've been bit by a snake. So this guy, he runs out to the resort. I yell at him because I panic, right? I was like, dude, get out there, find the janitor, whatever. Just do it now because I'm going to die. So, I'm going to die. You need to find a janitor and call the hospital. Like, call an ambulance. You need to do this. And he panics. He's like, no, don't die. When you look in hindsight, it's hilarious, you know. And he finds a janitor. His pupils are still dilated. Oh, wow. And he looks like a kind of a scary guy. He has like a neck tattoo and muscles, and he's the sweetest guy, but he looks scary. Okay. And so they come to our room and I'm there. My pupils are also dilated and they're like, but you're so, you're so fucking high. You know, you're so high, you know? And I was like, shit. Okay. I was like, call an ambulance. They call the police. Nice. They're calling the police, not the ambulance, because we did drugs in Thailand, you know. So they call the police, and somehow in all this, I just know that they were calling the police. I know. Yeah. It was like I understood Thai. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So I called. We had a friend that we met on the island, a Thai friend. We called her, and I said to her, I was like, you're going to come and pick me up at this resort because I'm going to die in a Thai prison. I'm going to die at the Thai prison. And my friend, he's like, what do you want me to do? I was like, pack up our things and go and hide somewhere. Go and hide somewhere. The police are coming. So he's like, okay. He's packing up like his suitcase, my backpack, and it's like, and he goes and hides somewhere at the pool area. Oh wow! Yes. So they carry me to the reception, right? And so I come to the reception at the same time as this police car comes. This guy comes up in a pickup as well. From our friend. He starts like screaming at the police. He's like, no. Like, you're not taking him. He's gonna with me, right? So, cause I told this girl that I've been bit by a snake. So, and he threw me up on the floor of the pickup. He drove away. The police somehow just, they went to search for my friend who was hiding at a pool area. So he was panicking in his own mind, his own life, right? So, cause he was coming down from shrooms as well, you know, but he heard the steps and saw them looking for it. Like, he was in his own hell. And I was like, shit, okay, I'm going to die and he's going to go to jail. That's what I thought. We come to the clinic, and so it was like 4 a.m. The clinic, there wasn't a doctor there, but they did call the doctor. Yeah. I passed out outside of the clinic, and I wake up at the hospital bed, because the nurse and the doctor were trying to extract blood from me, and they were extracting blood from me, and it was all black and jelly. Oh, well, like the one, yeah, like black and jelly. And the last thing I see is, like the nurse and the doctor, they're like, oh, and then it just pitch black. And it was a sensation of falling. Like it was like it was an off switch. Someone just, and then it was pitch black. Yeah. I didn't see anything. I just had a sensation of falling, and I had a sensation of an expanded consciousness and a sensation of falling. That's my best way of describing it. An expanded consciousness and a sensation of falling. But I had no body. And I had it was all a void. It was all a void. I was falling in an endless void. Yeah. There's no light. There's no white light, like everybody said, because I knew I was dead or whatever you want. Like, yeah. I said I was dead, but everybody got a white light. I remember thinking, what the fuck? Why am I not getting white light? You know, I was like, what's going on? Yeah. I was falling for what felt like 10 years. That's the best. That's what I said when I woke up. That's like, if I was falling for 10 years. Now I don't remember it that vividly, but that's what I told my friend when I woke up. And after I fell for a long time, I got so mad. I got so angry, because I realized, okay, I'm in hell. I'm just gonna have the sensation of falling for all eternity. That's what I'm gonna have. I'm just gonna fall for eternity. I got so mad, I started screaming in my head that to God, the creator, whatever. It's like, okay, I go to jail, I go to hell. Yeah. Like all of these really bad human beings, you know, rapists, terrorists, like all of these people that do these horrible things, they get to live. But I go to hell. It's like, if you come down here, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you. I said that to him, like, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you. That's what I thought or said or whatever. And all of a sudden, like 3 demons spawned, three demons that were representing my demons, and they looked in a particular way, and they were representing anger, lust, and shame, and they came towards me, and I remember that they were attacking me. They were attacking me with telepathically as they were walking towards me, and started like just coming closer and closer and closer, and attacking me physically as well in this non-existential body or light body or whatever. So then I all of a sudden I knew that to make them shrink, I have to sway, like parry their thoughts that they're sending into me. And the more that I didn't believe what they, like, that the words that they were putting in my head, the smaller, weaker they got. So it was like thoughts of unworthiness and like, you're nothing, and all of these horrible thoughts that were sending into me. And it went on for a while until I realized that these are not my thoughts. These are not my thoughts. I can choose to parry these. I can choose to deflect these. And I noticed that they became weaker and weaker. And then I visualized myself just fighting with them at the same time as I'm parrying their attacks, their telepathical attacks. And all of a sudden they vanish. And I'm still falling. But I see a white light. And the white light spawns outside. It looks like a star. It didn't look like a white light. It looked like a star if you look up at the sky. And I fell for a while, and then I was like, if Superman can fly, then I can fly. I'm outside of time and space. I can fly. If Superman can fly, I can fly. So all of a sudden I stopped falling and I started flying. It's like I flew like I've done it forever. I knew exactly how to do it in this time and space where I was. I flew up, I came closer. I had a bit of fun on the way, to be honest. You know, it's like I came closer. All of a sudden, I saw some particles, and the universe opened up to me. It became pretty less of a void and more magical, is what I would call it. Yeah. And I came closer and closer and closer to that white star, but not close enough to see what it was, because then a voice that sounded like mine, but a bit darker, he said, So my name was still Mons back then. She's Mons. If you hold on for a minute, like, I'm gonna give you an opportunity not many people get. All right. So if you're familiar with what the humans call the Akashic Records, and I said yes. If you look to your left now, I built a library for you, and I materialized it exactly as you want it. I was like, okay, yeah. I look to my left, and I see that's a Hogwarts library. He's like, and in there, what I want you to do is I want you to go in there. I want you to ask any question and then go to any book, whatever book, and open any page, and you will get the answer to that question and the definitive answer to that question and why the answer is the way it is. And you can be in there as long as you want. Take your time. And once you feel that you have enough knowledge, or that you've gotten answered on the questions that you want, you can go out and fly up towards the star again, or the white light. I was okay. I went in there, opened the door, flying books. It was all magical. The creator materialized it as something beautiful for me as a reward because of the trials and tribulations I went through into the abyss. And it was all very soothing, very serene. There was wizards riding in books. There were flying books, and they welcomed me. And this is such a surreal experience. And I started asking questions. I opened books, and there came up a text of the answer of the question. And on the other side was why the answer was the way it was. And when I was done, I just went out. I said, I'm done. He's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. I know, was what he said. And then I continued flying up, and this white star wasn't a white star. I came close to it, and it was a portal. It wasn't a white star, it was a portal. And through that portal was high grass, and 100 meters away was an oak tree, or I'm not really sure what kind of tree, but it looked a good tree. Under that tree was my wife, which I don't have, and our 2-year-old daughter, which I don't have. So what I chose to do was go through that portal. I step into the portal, and all of a sudden I get a physical body. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm back in life. Or is this heaven? Or was that all I had to do to come to heaven? And that was my thought. It's like, okay, shit, yeah, right. And I walk towards my wife and my 2-year-old daughter. All of a sudden, from the left comes my 5-year-old son. I don't see their faces, none of them, but I know that this is my wife. I know it's my daughter. I know this is my son. He comes running from the left, and I pick him up under the arm, and I've done nothing else. I walk towards my daughter and my wife, and I come close, and the second that I touch my daughter, I wake up in Lanta in a hospital bed. And my friend is crying in the corner because I was dead.
Yeah, and those kind of stories just shows you it. Like, what I had in mind while you telling this story is just how much this is a story of self-acceptance, of letting go, of this lust and this anxiety and this depression are all there to sign us and to sign to us what it is that we need to do in order to get to our next level of evolution, and what it is that we need to do in order to be more fulfilled and more accepting and more loving towards ourselves. And the depictions that you've seen and everything that went along the way, I know that with time it will reveal itself, and it will bring forward what it is that will again get you to your next step of what it means being Felix, what it means being there for others, what it means helping people. But from all the story that we heard of you today, like, the biggest thing you can see about you is that everything is about to about making things better, about allowing others the space, about allowing your powers and your beliefs and the way you think about life to just manifest physically and just be able to share the experience that you are going through for others to be better, to fill in themselves, because you understand that you and we have a big role here as people that are more in tune with themselves and had the guts to go deep and scratch the surface and just observe what it is being a human. And wow, this was a beautiful conversation, bro. I love you a lot.
I love you too.
There's a lot of things to be learned here. And honestly, again, like I started, I will end. Like, I'm so grateful to having you in my life as a brother and as a character that I can look from aside and observe myself clearly through you. Because look at you, you're an open book. You're here to experience. You're here to understand yourself and other. And if there's anything else that you have to say to the people out there, one lesson, one thing that is the thing for you that any human needs to know.
Do everything with love.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
KohPhanCast, guys.
Join the journey, stay for a while.